chapter 22, verse 14, it says this. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah Jireh, as it is said to this day, in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. I became a prostitute at the age of 18, an official prostitute. I've been I was human trafficked for almost 20 years. My name is Jean Davis, and I come from the West Coast. And God did just as he did with Abraham and called him out to go somewhere. The police officers and the homeless shelter that I was living in told me that I needed to find a place and I needed to leave the state that I was from. And they told me I had an option between Alaska, Maine, New Hampshire, and Washington. And I called all the shelters. There were 16 shelters in Maine. I called all the shelters in Washington. It was about 27 shelters total I called. And I was done. I was at the end of myself. And it was to the point where I had no money. I had been in and out of jail for many years. I had been prostituting all over the United States. I had been hooked on crystal meth for almost 10 years. I lost my son, my oldest son, at the age of 2. I last time physically saw him was the age of 4. My son will be 14 now, so it's been almost 10 years since I actually physically have seen my son. And I lost all contact from my family. I burnt every bridge. There were so many people that would try to help me and try to do intervention, and I kept on going deeper and deeper into drug addiction and into following what men said, because I was looking for a love that was not real, something that was not tangible that I can actually hold on to. And at the end of myself, I just said, I'm done. I cried out to God while I was in jail, and I said, if you could get me out of this situation, I will never do another illegal activity. And when I got out of jail, and I went and I talked to the police officers and I talked to the shelter, and they told me that I needed to leave, I'll never forget. It was a Thursday or Friday morning. It was cold, brisk, and I called this woman, and I had already called 16 shelters prior to this woman. And I called this woman, her name was Teresa, and I said to her, I need a place. This is what's going on. My life is not, it's in danger. There's men that want to kill me because of the fact that I had left being human trafficked and stuff. And most people know that a woman who gets human trafficked, there's only 3 ways out, and that's either jail, being sold to another man, or being dead. And I've been to jail and I've been sold, and that was the only last thing. And so I just cried out to her, and she said to me, oh, I must be your first call. And I told her no. I said, you're actually number 17. And in that moment, she said, yes, I will take you. Not realizing where it was at, where I was going, she said yes. So she said to me, I needed to find a way to get to New Hampshire. And I said to her, I have no money. I had already, in my heart, I had already told God, I said, I will never do another illegal activity, so I had no money. And she said, well, let me talk to the shelter that you're at, and we will figure out a way. And I said, okay. And so they sat down, they talked and stuff, and they came back and they said, well, we'll get you a plane ticket. So they bought me a plane ticket, which they never usually did, and they sent me to New Hampshire. And on August 19, 2014, I arrived at Manchester, New Hampshire by airplane. And I remember I was 4.5 months pregnant. I was done. I was tired. And I looked at the woman, and she just looked at me and she says, my name is Teresa. And I just took the most biggest deep breath and just let it go. And I just said, okay. She said, we're going to get in my car and we're going to drive. So I got in her truck and we drove for about an hour to almost an hour and a half. And I didn't know where we were going. She still had not told me where we were going. And I had just said in my mind, I've been in many vehicles before. What's the difference for this one? And while we were driving, she was telling me, about different places in the city that we were going to. And she told me about this one place called Pregnancy Resource Center. And she said that it's a faith-based, and they believe in Jesus. And I said, I don't care. I said, that's fine. I'll go and I'll check it out. And they said they'll help you with your baby and providing clothes and things like that for your child. And I said, okay, great. Because at the time when I came, I had only 3 pairs of outfits. I had only 2 pairs of underwear and 1 bra. And that was it. That's all I had with me. And so I had nothing saved up for my child. I didn't even want my child. And so I had I came with her to Keene, and that's when she told me that we were living in Keene and that she was, that I was at the Monadnock Prevention Violence Shelter is where I had called to. And so she told me that there were some NA meetings because she had asked me if I had ever been addicted to drugs, and I said yes, I was addicted to crystal meth for almost 10 years, and she said, okay, there's some AA and NA meetings. And so I was going to these meetings, and all I kept on hearing were people talking about how they were using heroin, how they were using Percocets, how they were going to the methadone clinics, and they needed to get their fix. And it was a constant, everyday revolving door, people using at the meetings. It was just, I was so sick. I was so done. I just wanted a new, fresh life. I just wanted a way of just living and knowing what life was really about. And I cried one day, and I was walking back to the shelter while I was crying, and I was like, I just need to get out of here. And I had no clue where to go. And I had went to the Pregnancy Resource Center, but their doors weren't open. I didn't know how to get in. So I went back to the shelter, and I told the woman, Teresa, I said, I was trying, and she said, oh no, you have to call. And I said, okay. And I said, you know what? I called Phyllis, and I let Phyllis know that she called Phyllis, and she let her know that I was coming, and I went there, and I looked at Phyllis, and when she opened those doors, and I just hugged her, and she said, my name is Phyllis, and I said, I'm Jean. And she just held me, and she showed me who Jesus Christ was, and she prayed over me, and she says, it's okay, I will walk with you. And I just cried and broke. It was like the first time somebody actually didn't care what I did. They just wanted to know and just to show me true love. And I wanted to give up my child, and she convinced me not to. She said, no. She's like, keep him. And I said, okay. And so I looked up, and she said, I looked at her and I said, now what? So she told me about a program. I was able to get into the program. I was able to graduate the program. And after graduating the program, I've been able to go to Bible college, where I now have my associate's degree in biblical theology. I've written not 1 but 2 books about my story on how I was able to come out of human trafficking, and every step of the way God has provided, to the point where God has provided me to come back to the Monadnock region and to work at House of Hope alongside the same woman who saved me. I get to sit with Phyllis and help other women be saved. My goal and my passion is to be able to have a food truck so I could go and serve other women and to be able to feed them and let them know who Jesus Christ is, and to help women that have been or being human trafficked to come off the streets and to have a new way of living, to say there's something better than filth. And to know that God is truly Jehovah Jireh, and He provides everything for me. He provides for my son to go to a private school. I had no money. I'm a single mom, and He has provided for people to support my son in paying for the scholarship at his school and stuff, and he's even been accepted back into the private school for next year. Just amazing things that God has done since I have left that life. And I thank God from the depths of the being of me, knowing that He loves me and sees me, and He's truly Jehovah Jireh. Just as He was for Abraham, He is for me. Thank you.